Alrighty then. I just finished the final episode of the I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series. So a little bit of history with me and this franchise. The first movie came out in 97. The actual first, experience I have with it was I saw the end of the first one. And then I watched the second one on TV with my mom. It's all dubbed and stuff. And when it comes to the films and how I like them, I think the first one is pretty good. I think the second one is the best. To be honest, I like that one a lot better. The third one is dog shit. It has nothing to do with the originals, and you have, in the words of Phaelus, a zombie fisherman? No. Third one, not so good. If I was to take this TV series without spoilers and put it in here somewhere, I would say my ranking would be at the bottom. So without the TV series in there, it would be obviously the bottom one. Number 3 is I Always Know What You Did Last Summer, followed by the first one and then the second one. I would put the TV series in between the second one and the third one, because I think it's good. But it's the last couple episodes just kind of goes down a little bit. Especially with the killer reveal. That to me, I don't know. It just, and what they decide to do afterwards. So, this might be a longer review, so I'm gonna, sorry about the tongue sticking out. Using that to wet my whistle every once in a while. So, you guys know I did a Sky TV where I gave my thoughts on the trailer for this. And I said it looked like woke bullshit, woke garbage. But I was surprised. I gave it a shot, right? I put it, by the time I went to watch this, there was 6 episodes. I decided, okay, I'll give it a shot. I didn't realize that they had released 4 episodes right away, and then it'd been 2 weeks. I thought it was a couple episodes in. I figured I was 3 episodes in, but already 6 episodes had been, and this was all last week from when I'm recording this. 2 weeks ago. My bad. 2 weeks ago from when I'm watching this. From when I'm recording this. Excuse me. And so I binged the first 6 episodes, because by the time I started watching it, by the time I got to halfway through, it was past midnight. An episode, it actually uploads at 11 o'clock Central Time, just so you know. But episodes are done for now. I do hope there's a second season. I'll tell you that much, because they do leave some dangling plot threads. A couple, excuse me. But the story is, see what they did here. It's based on the book. So I thought perhaps this was the story from the book with a little tweaking. No, I looked up the book. The book is verbatim the first movie, but without slasher elements, basically. It's more of a mystery type film. This is original story. No characters from the book. They basically did what the Scream TV series did and created an entirely new story centered around the same kind of premise, which is good. You don't want to copy the same thing. If the Scream TV series had this copy and had the same characters, and it's we kind of know where it's going, and if you'd have to do almost the same beats but have a twist. You could make Dewey the killer or Randy the killer, something like that. And here, the only thing I could see them doing if they went that route is that David Egan was actually the killer, or Missy was doing it. But I'm glad they went a different route. Although there was, it's one thing, because at first I thought it was going to be a couple things. Who the killer was, I thought it was going to be obvious. It wasn't. I was shocked when they realized. Well, I figured it out towards the end. I was like, I have a feeling this is going to happen, and this person's going to be the killer, and it was. But it was right before they revealed it, so I didn't kind of connect it until then. But So the first thing I kind of predicted, which is kind of obvious from the trailer, is that one of the twins is the one that dies. Which one, we don't know. The twins are Lennon, who is the party girl. She sleeps around, she does drugs, that kind of character. She's the popular one. Her sister, Allison, is a loner. She has like a couple friends, but she doesn't, do all that stuff like her sister does. So, yeah. Those are our characters. We also have, I'll tell you the ones that will be important. Margot, who is Lennon's best friend. Dylan, who is the guy that Allison has a crush on and that Lennon sleeps with at the party, and that starts the whole chain of events. There's other characters. There's Johnny. There's Dale, who is the prerequisite Max character, because he's the one that drives by and sees them on the road. So he is Max in this instant. I think he's one of the first ones to die when the killings start. And then there's other characters, cop characters and stuff like that, so to speak. So, like, for the most part, they do follow, like, there's an accident that happens, someone dies, they decide not to tell anyone. Oh, Riley, I forgot about Riley. She's another female friend of theirs, and Dylan's best friend. And so, yeah, someone dies, they decide not to tell anyone, and then a year later, someone comes around and starts killing people. That's the basic. But they work in this cult that has existed on this island before everything has happened. The twins' mother was involved in it. They found out the dad was somewhat involved in it. There's this woman that lives on the same land as Dylan named Clara. She was involved in it. It's hinted that Dylan and his mothers were also involved in it. Yes, mothers. He has lesbian mothers. There's a lot of that in here, but it works. Like, it's just 2021. We're going to have movies and TV shows with that in it. We have to accept it. And they do handle it very well. It's not thrown in your face like, oh my God, we're lesbian. No, it's handled very well. So it works. It works. I was going to say for the most part, but it works, completely works. One interesting thing to note is the cast, right? Madison Eastman from the Jumanji movies and Annabelle Comes Home and Goosebumps 2. She is the twins. She plays both sets of twins. Both sets of twins. Both twins. The full set of twins, both twins. And it's interesting to note that Brianna Tiju, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, who plays Margot, also played the character of Riley on the Scream TV series during season 1, which is one of Noah's girlfriends that has to die. So if they do bring that show back, like there's rumors, I hope he doesn't date anyone because they're gonna die. But anyway, and I sort of got that dynamic at first with Dylan, Lennon, and Margot, that they were the three, like the three on Scream. They were gonna be the three that are the main three characters, and for the most part, that is true, and we'll get there. But yes, so the obvious thing, they do the switcheroo. I'm almost 10 minutes and I'm doing time about this. The switcheroo. So the beginning of this starts at a party. It's Margot's birthday party or going away birthday whatever party, and Lennon is there, and she's dressed in a white tank top with a black bra underneath or whatever. And Allison shows up. Sorry, water thing bugging me. Allison shows up, and so she has like her hair up to differentiate herself from her sister, and she's wearing a hoodie, but like the hoodie's taken off, and Lennon dresses her up like herself, and I'm like, there's got to be a reason why they're doing that. And so they do the whole thing where like, oh, you gotta hook up with Dylan, but she's too nervous. So Lennon does it and hooks up with him, and she gets pissed and she runs off. Now, the last time we see both twins at this point, they're both wearing the tank tops. Okay? So, Margot, Riley, Johnny, and Dylan all pile into Lennon's car where what we're supposed to believe is Lennon is sitting in the trunk, and they drive off. Now, I kind of had this. I was kind of unsure at first as to which twin it was, but then there was this moment. There was a line where Dylan asks, because she finds out that she slept with Dylan, and Lennon slept with Dylan. He asks, "Is Allison okay?" And the way she looks at him, and the way she says no, I was like, "That's Allison." And then we have the accident. They're driving on the road. They hit her, and Lennon dies because it's Lennon. There's no mystery behind that, although they try to make it a mystery. And this is one of the things that it's a negative for me, is that whoever wrote this thought we were stupid and couldn't figure it out, even though you were shoving it in front of our faces. That half of the second episode is flashbacks to reveal that it was Allison driving the car, not Lennon. And it makes... I'm sitting there watching this and I'm going, do they think we're stupid? Because it'll show a little bit of present time, then go back and show just a little bit of what happened that night. And it just keeps gradually going back until it reveals the truth. And I'm like, why are they slowly showing us what happened? Do they think we're idiots and we couldn't figure it out? I figured it out. It's the way she looked at Dylan and said no. I was like, that's Allison. And they reveal like, oh, she went to get her sweatshirt, but someone was sitting on it, so she grabbed Lennon's jacket. And then when Lennon ran out, she grabbed the hoodie, and things got switched. And then later they revealed that the dad, they showed that she comes home, and the dad calls her Allison. And you're led to believe, oh, a parent can tell who they are, but then they reveal later that the reason he knows that's Allison is because he was with Lennon and she flipped out about something that we find out later, and he left her on the side of the road, and that's when she got hit. Now I'm going to reveal some beats for this because I don't want to come back to it. The secret that they're arguing about was that their mom is actually still alive, because they say that she died, committed suicide or whatever. She's actually still alive, and she's been hiding out somewhere. That doesn't really go anywhere other than resulting in her death. I'm just saying. And then, also, it's revealed in the last episode that Allison saw Lennon on the road and purposely sped up the car. No one else is paying attention, so she was able to get away with it. So she did it on purpose because she was angry. So, yeah, she's psychotic. This last episode was pointing fingers everywhere, trying to make you think some person was doing this, some person was doing that. And honestly, it worked because I had no idea who the killer was until they revealed who it was, and I was like, wait, what? Or not till they revealed, like I said, minutes. I was like, no, it's not going to be, it can't be. Because once it starts to click in my head, I was like, no. But, yes, we have 1 year later, right? So 1 year later, this stuff starts to happen. People start to die. We get the prerequisite kill. I think Dale is the first one to die because that was Max, basically. And then Johnny is the next one to die. Also, they do a thing with Johnny where it looked like he was dating Margot at first. And then like a year later, he's gay. So, I mean, it happens, but I don't know. They also do, Margot is also bi. And she has a thing for Lennon, you know. Happens. 21 series. Here's something. The dad has a relationship with the sheriff. They're like banging each other in secret. But then like partway through the series, it's revealed like there's an episode, I think it's like episode 6. Take place like 3 weeks later. And by then it's been announced that they're dating and they're actually engaged to be married. But they're still sneaking around to have sex in a porta potty? Why not just have it at the house? I mean, even in this last episode, they were having sex at the police station or something, or was it? It was his office, I think. Why are you still sneaking around? Maybe it's just even then she's like, maybe we can pick up some lunch. She goes, I'm not hungry. She's like, oh, lunch was codenamed for fucking. He's like, oh, in that case, I'm very hungry. I'm like, why not just say, hey, you want to go bang or something? Everyone knows you're together. Why do you have to hide it? I mean, I don't know. So the suspects. I already mentioned Clara. Clara was one of the suspects. She was the chief suspect for a while. Also, there was Dylan. And I put the dad up there because I thought maybe he was... Because once I found out he knew, I was like, okay, it might be the dad. Especially since when Margot was pushed out of the window in episode 7, whoever did it was wearing a hoodie. And in the very next scene, we see the dad meeting up with the mom, and he's wearing a hoodie. So I'm like, could it be the dad? I don't know. But, yeah. But then it starts to get too much pointing to Dylan. Where, like, Dylan starts acting strange. There's a scene at the end of one of the episodes where Clara comes into the cave. So there's this cave where they dumped Lennon's body. And it gets washed up. And, like, a year later they find the body and it's not, like, maggot food or anything. It's not deteriorated. It's perfectly preserved. And there's something with honey where they put the body in honey. Is that a preservative? I don't know. But, like, it looks perfectly preserved. And does it have, like, resurrection powers from what we see at the end of the final episode, which was really weird. Even though I was kind of thinking it might happen, but when it happened, I was actually surprised because I didn't actually think they were going to do it. But we'll get there. But, yeah, it's just weird, you know? They never really fully explain the honey. But, like, you know, people are dying, and when Clara comes in with a body, I won't say whose body he is yet, like, she's staring at Dylan, and Dylan doesn't look like he's put off by the dead body of his best friend laying in there. And so it starts really pointing everything at Dylan, and he starts acting really strange and saying strange things to the point where I'm like, it can't be Dylan. It's too much. It's too obvious. He's the biggest red herring. It can't be him. And it's not. Spoiler alert, it's not Dylan. I'm like, I was convinced it was the dad. So, we have some other characters. We have what was her name? The maid lady who is Riley's mother, even though they're not the same race. She's mixed race, so maybe the dad was black. Who knows? But she dies trying to find her daughter. Now, Riley gets her hand hacked off and then stabbed, right? And then when the police find her body and Clara's body, and they're both covered in honey. And apparently they have Riley's body in an evidence locker, I guess, as we see in the final episode there. But who is the killer? A few more things to connect here. So, and actually, now that I think about it, it is obvious when you think about it. And I'll talk about this when I reveal who the killer was. But I didn't think about this till now with that. But So, episode 7 and 8 is really when it started to go downhill. So the biggest problem I had is that all this stuff is happening and Allison is not revealing that she is Allison. She's still keeping it quiet. If I was in her position, as soon as people started dying, I'd be like, hey, I need to say something here, okay? I'm Allison. That was Lennon. And they say something that identical twins are indistinguishable. Bullshit. Dental? Indistinguishable. Like, their DNA is indistinguishable. Bullshit. Twins are not. Everyone has different fucking fingerprints. No two fingerprints are the same. They have different, fingerprints. You fingerprint that body. I know it's a year old, but you fingerprint that body, it's gonna come up Lennon. That's bullshit. It's an excuse for them to not be able to figure it out. And even in this last episode, they're like, Lennon, Allison, because they think it's Allison. Allison had a little piercing on her ear, and the body has one. And I'm like, huh? And it's revealed that the father switched the pictures, and I'm just like, okay, why can't they just get a hint? Why does every time they try to figure out what's going on, it's redirected away from them finding out? I just don't think that they needed or still need to keep it a secret. Like, that's literally what's killing people is the fact that she lied. Because that's the killer's motive. That she lied, so coming after them, right? If she tells the truth, it would do something. It would help anything, but she doesn't say anything until episode 7 after she has sex with Dylan. Which, by the way, I was unprepared for nudity in this. I know it's weird. This is Amazon Prime. There's swearing, there's gore, but I wasn't prepared for nudity. Especially, I don't know if it was a stunt double, or a body double, but especially from Madison Iceman. When they show her as Lennon having sex with Dylan, she has a top, she has like a bra on when they're doing it. So I'm like, okay, she's not going to do nudity. And then, boom, in the middle episode when they show that she used Allison's laptop to do like a what's that called? The OnlyFans page, and they show her and Margot topless, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But really? They did nudity? And then in this episode, in episode 7, she has sex with Dylan. She's naked, and I'm just like, whoa, okay. I guess she's comfortable. That's fine. She got a nice body. That's fine. She's a very attractive young lady. I've dated fat women, so I'm not against that. I'm a fat man myself, so I'm not prejudiced at all. Either way, I don't discriminate. But anyway, yeah, and after they do it, she's like, it's me, it's Allison, I'm Allison, and he flips out, and he says, do you know what I've done? And I'm like, so is he the killer? I think that's still red herring territory. And it was, because I don't know what he has done. I think it's established the only person he's killed is Clara, even though they seem to still think that she killed herself. Even though it's obvious, because he said he freed Clara. Obviously, he killed her. But I think that's the only person that he killed was Clara. So, this episode, the mom comes back and she's looking for a Bible, which, why that's important, we don't know, because she ends up getting killed. I think it was stupid to kill her off, even though no one else really thinks that she's dead because her body was moved. But the reveal of the killer. So, the setup for this, Allison's trying to get a hold of her dad. He's not answering the phone. And I'm like, the dad's the killer. He killed the mom. Margot's going to come across the body. And then she's going to end up dead. Because she calls and she's, oh my God. I'm like, okay, something's going on. And so Allison and Dylan show up. And she's still unsure if she can trust Dylan. And they get there. And they're looking around, and Dylan gets knocked up in the back of the head, right? And Allison doesn't see it, and she finds Margot, and she's covered in blood. And I'm like, this is when I'm like, no, they're not gonna, can't be Margot, can it? And Allison goes, who did this to you? And she looks up, and she goes, you did. And I'm like, wait, huh? And it's revealed that she was the killer. And remember I mentioned there's something that happens that really should have tipped me off, and I didn't connect it until now. There's a 3-week break. Margot has an eating disorder, and she goes away for 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, nothing happens. And it's like, oh, they were waiting for her to get back, because the first thing that happens after Dylan has sex with Allison is that she gets pushed out the window. So we think that we're supposed to think that Dylan, in a rage after finding out that she's Allison, decides, fuck it, and pushes her out a window. It's revealed that Kyle, her bodyguard, did it, and he was in on it because she found out he was having sex with her dad and threatened to tell her mother. But it's also implied during the credits, because there's this scene during the credits where Margot basically tells us how she did everything, that her mother might be involved in it somehow. Like, she's part of it. Like, she's in on it. And I don't know. But, yeah, Margot is the killer. And at first I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. How? And it's revealed that she killed Johnny, and that's when Kyle found her, and that's when she blackmailed him, and then they've been kind of working together. So it's kind of been both of them. The cop was getting close to figuring it out, I guess, and she killed him, and I guess there was just some poor guy who was constipated, and that's why he died. Yeah, okay, and they were framing Dylan. I think it was supposed to be Clara, but then they started to frame Dylan, and she stabs Lennon. And then Dylan escapes from wherever Kyle put him, and Kyle takes the body of the mom to put away so that everybody still thinks she's still dead, because they find her body, something's going to happen. But, yeah, and then it lost me. This series did a swan dive, and I was lost. So, Dylan shows up, and Margot reveals herself to him as the killer, and he wrestles the gun away, but the sheriff shows up, so Margot acts how innocent. So I'm sitting there going, okay, Allison, all you gotta do is say it was Margot that stabbed you. And she says, it was Dylan. I'm like, wait, what? But why? Why? There's this whole conversation that they have about being in love, and then she says that she's in love, still in love with her, even though she stabbed her, and it's like, oh, it could be a way to suck up to me so I don't kill you. And yeah, that's exactly what it was. And, she still knows what she did last summer, but it does. And why? Why would she do this? Well, so that Margot doesn't tell the cops that she's Allison. That's the only thing I can think of, is that she doesn't want to be fucking found out. And like I said, if you had told the cops from the beginning what had happened, that you're Allison, yes, it's fraud, okay? I'm Allison. It was an accident. They just assumed I was Allison, and I was too messed up to even say anything, and we just went with it. You know, it's a TV show. They're not always going to legal route with that anyway. But it just... No, that's all it was to keep her secret. Also, she's in that... They have her in the ambulance with the knife still stuck in her. I don't think that's up to code. I don't think that's how you do that. You take it out and you bandage it up. You don't leave the knife sticking out of her. What kind of procedure is that? She's just laying in the ambulance with the knife sticking out of her gut. And it's like, no, they wouldn't do that. They would take it out and quickly bandage it so she doesn't bleed out. And then, you know, the dad covers for her. Said, "Oh no, who knows? The mother's dead." So yeah, Kyle got rid of the body, takes it to the cave. So I don't know. And we end the actual episode with a close up of Riley's body covered in honey. And I'm sitting there as it's getting closer and closer, and I'm like, "Are the eyes gonna open?" No, they're not gonna do that. And the eyes open, and I went, "Oh shit, they did it." But what the hell does that mean? Like, is she alive? Or what? Also, there's an actress from a couple of Disney Channel original movies, the Teen Beach movie, Teen Beach 2. And I always say this is jarring when you see an actress. She was also in the Pitch Perfect movies, but when you see an actress who was in a Disney show and she starts swearing, she's also smoking in a couple scenes too. But it's like, it's really weird. She's the most amazing fucking angel. I'm just like, okay, it's really weird to see a Disney Channel person swearing, you know. But it's you know, she doesn't die, by the way. She kind of disappears at some point, but. And during the credits, you have Margot basically explaining how she did stuff and how Kyle got involved and everything. And she does say that she didn't even check for a pulse on Riley. So Riley could have still been alive when Clara found her. What I think is stupid about, though, is that she's laying like right next to her house, and even her little sister yells out, "It's Rai Rai!" And there's like, come on, come in the house. And I'm like, no. She says it's Rai Rai. Why don't you look? It's stupidity. You gotta have some stupid characters, right? They ignore the little girl, and she's saying, "It's Rai Rai." They just ignore her and say, come on, come in the house. You know, and if Riley is still alive, because Dylan is arrested, by the way, because he's implicated. But that's all gonna fall apart if they do a season 2 and Riley is still alive. She can confirm it was Margot that killed her, because she's not gonna turn on Dylan. They're best friends. Dylan is now in a mental institution for no fucking reason. If this was a straight up horror movie, I think it would have went differently. But because it's a TV show and they need to have some kind of twist and possible setups for a second season, they have to have some kind of thing. Although I would have done it just a little bit differently. This is how you do it. You have the struggle, and you have Dylan shoot her, right? Shoot Margot. They say it was Margot that did it. But the body is gone. But when they go to recover it, the body is gone because Kyle had moved it. And he puts that body up there with the mom. And then you have Kyle be the killer in season 2. It's a way to do it, I guess. Or you just do the thing where she dies and they don't know that Kyle was involved. Because she doesn't reveal what everything that happened, that Kyle pushed her out the window until the end credits. So you have her die, but you don't realize that Kyle was involved too. Even though you see him put the body in, but they don't know that. Or maybe you just don't show him putting the body in. And you're like, okay, what happened to the mom? What did she do with it? The body? Who knows? Was the dad? Because the dad basically covers it up too. Could it be the dad that's helping her? You know? Who knows? They did say the dad favored Lennon over Allison, so that would make sense as like a red herring. And then when the killings start happening in the next season, the dad is the prime suspect. But then we find out it's Kyle getting revenge for, that would make sense to me. But we went this route, and I hope there's a second season because I want to see where they go with this. I do want to see it. But like I said, I put this in between 2 and 3, or 1 and 3, I should say. 1 and 3. 2 and 3 in the ranking, but so it's number 3. So 2 and 4, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but the last couple episodes just kind of went down a little bit, especially with that ending. I don't necessarily think we had to go that route, but I'm intrigued to see if they renew it. I hope they do. Come on, Amazon. Give us another season. People are watching this, apparently. I've seen other reviews on YouTube, I want at least one more season. I'm into this. Alright. Give it to me. Okay? But as it stands, this was okay. It was fine. It was a nice watch. The first 6 episodes were bangers. Boom, boom, boom. Really into it. And then, the last episodes, they kind of calmed down. And then, kind of went, but it's alright. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on the I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series, season 1, I guess? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.